that transcription, and it's getting started here. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Thursday, July 14th. I am Heather Cox. You are at Microsoft's office hours. With me today are my fantastic co-hosts. I'll turn it over to you, Steph.
Hey everybody, Stephanie Stevens, and I'd like to give a personal shout out to Mr. Stevens because today is our anniversary.
Yay, how many years, Steph?
To this year is 16 years married, but 23 years together. So we old.
You're not looking like you are capable of having been married 16 and together for 23. So
sometimes it feels like it, but
impressive.
Yeah, July 14th is an awesome day. It's also Bastille Day, so all of our French folks out there, you know.
Woohoo!
Yeah, yay for you, Bastille Day.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria Dean. I don't have any exciting news to share with you all.
And last but not least.
And I'm Andrea Singrio. Happy to be here today.
All right. So what we have decided to do, we thought we'd kick it off instead of having a different speaker because we haven't seen you in a while. We wanted to come back together and do just kind of a what's new in EDU. For those of you familiar with conference season, ISTE took place recently. We ended our last year like a week or two into June, and then we're picking up now, obviously. So we figured we'd go through some things, but we want to make sure that we keep it a little bit interactive and also help us kind of plan for what's to come. So we're going to do something today that as we share a topic, one of us, so I think when I'm presenting, Andrea is going to be the one asking the question. So look for Andrea's post in the chat where she's going to say, do you want to learn more about this topic? And if you're kind of like, maybe like if we need to, give it a thumbs up. If you are like, yes, we want a full session, we want a deep dive on this one, give it a heart. If you are against the topic, don't do anything. It's like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You know, don't give us a mean face. Nothing.
We don't
like
need
that.
any angry gifts or like Hulk smash. And also, I see people using their reactions. Do that, but also actually respond to the text in the chat so that we have a count on that when she posts the topics or whoever. Yeah,
that is key. So welcome to use the reactions because those are fun to see, but please do them on the post. And that way we have some way to follow up because we want to make sure, as I said earlier, that everything we talk about is really relevant and what you are looking for. So what we're doing today, they are high level overview. Here's information. These are not deep dives. We're not going to go fully into depth on the topic and do the training. But what we have done is if there's a roadmap link, it is linked on the slide. If there is documentation that can take you to it, that is also there. So since we're using PowerPoint Live, all of those links are live to you throughout the presentation, but we will have the link to the entire thing at the very, very end so that you can have access and you can come back to all of that. So just keep that in mind as we go through. So what we are going to start with is one that, gosh, I wish this existed in college. I wish that I had this as a furious note taker, but OneNote live captions. So this has been mentioned before. There's a quick YouTube on how to use it. It does require the use of Microsoft Translator in conjunction. So just keep that in mind. So a teacher does need to initiate a Microsoft Translator session for that, but it will take live captions within OneNote. So say whether you're in a meeting or if you are, if it's a classroom and that scenario, if you're in OneNote, the instructor or the meeting host has done the live caption piece, it will completely capture the entire set of what's being said in that meeting. And you then have the ability to really personalize what that looks like for you. So you can highlight some of the things that have been stated. You can you can change the language. If you have an English language learner, or it's a world language, whatever you wanted to do, the language does not need to be English. So actually it says 60 plus. I think there's actually 70 plus. When in the YouTube video, they mentioned that. So keep this in mind. The other thing that is really fantastic is anytime one of those transcript sessions has taken place, it's hard to see in here, but let me turn the little pointer on. You'll see in the OneNote a tab for transcripts is automatically created. And so all of those transcripts for the sessions will show up there. If somebody is trying to access this, so the teacher has launched the translator session, you access it under view. So the view tab, live captions. Oh, it's not showing it right there. Oh no, it's right here. Here we go. Live captions is one of the options. Another amazing thing that would have been helpful again in college is, let's say I'm the student, the teacher's talking, and I mentally kind of need to stop, and I need the captions to stop. I can pause the listening. However, it simply pauses it from showing up in that thread for that time being. And as soon as I resume, anything that was said while I was paused, that does come up. So honestly, I was literally the craziest, furious handwriting note taker. And to be able to have had this and fill in some of those gaps, I think that's amazing. So love, love, love this feature.
Can I jump in real quick, Heather?
Go for it.
Heather is using PowerPoint Live to present this deck today, meaning that all of these links are live. So you can click on these links and go right to there if you want to save or get back to it, or think that, whatever she's added here, whatever links we've provided are right there for you to be able to use. So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that as the audience.
There you go. I'm not spending a long time on this one because we actually did have a complete office hours session on it. If we need to, if you guys indicate that when Andrea posts it and you do the thumbs up or the heart, if we need to circle back, we can. Here's some information about Teams Connect. These are shared channels. I have linked it to a blog specifically about it. I have linked it to the office hours we did. We had a wonderful peer of ours, Giuliano, who came and did a full presentation. And then our fabulous friends, Joe and Dwayne, they have an amazing podcast, and they are always giving us great information. So I went and pulled the link to their newsletter and podcast that you can find on LinkedIn. And so all of those resources about Teams Connect are there. So like I said, I'm not going to spend a long time on it simply because we have talked about it, but I wanted to circle back to it because it is still on the newer end. We've got it in preview. People are starting to use it, but there you go. And Andy has called out, full disclosure, Teams Connect requires admin setup on both sides. So just keep that in mind as you're working through it. Another one that I know is very popular, and especially in education, is the there's lots of clapping, the co-organizer role. So keep that in mind, that is there. As somebody who, when I was in the classroom, I was in what's called a team taught classroom. So it was myself as the general ed teacher. We had another teacher that was supporting the special education students. We worked as a full team. We needed to be able to do everything together. So one person being able to do it and not the other is a huge, huge hindrance. So here are some of the things that are going to take place. Again, here is a link. This one links to the docs on that, but I want to call this part out. I wanted to make sure that this was very, very clear. You have to be in the same organization or be using a guest account in the same org. So please understand that. I think I don't have any of this in documentation, but as we've seen with all of our products, we are getting better and better about external collaboration where, you know, we've got our internal, one tenant and then we have somebody from another tenant. We're getting a lot better. So hopefully that does expand where you don't have to be in the same organization. I don't know that that's what's going to take place. In this case, it's linked to the roadmap with the timeline. So keep that in mind. Yes, go Victoria.
Yeah, one disclaimer, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think this feature kind of came out to address, having like another teacher come in and allow people to come in through the lobby. The one caveat is that if you need to change that meeting for any reason, as a co-organizer, you won't be able to do that, but it does address what was intended. Oh no, guys, don't do that to me. There's a lot of I don't know how to make that face, but there's a lot of those faces because I know it won't get captured in the recording, and now I'm gonna look crazy. But
all right,
please do it again. I was almost there with the screen grab.
My last slide that I will be sharing is just to mention that there are some updates coming to Career Coach. Again, this is not a deep dive, but if this is interesting to everyone, make sure to mark it on what Andrea posts, is that Career Coach is intended really for higher education institutions, and they have a lot of those updates have to do with licensing. So what I've done is I've linked for you both just here's what Career Coach is, here's how it works. It's a great way to help your higher ed students set themselves up for success outside of your institution. Let me tell you, this is my personal complaint because I've always complained about this, is that I went to school and majored in political science. What? Why? No one tells you anything. No one says, hey, maybe it's not the greatest like place to go and do something. But maybe had I had Career Coach, I could have actually leveraged it by putting in my skill set, connecting with alumni from the Ohio State University and all of those different things and gotten some resources. It didn't exist for me, so I had to figure something else out. I'm not mad about how things have turned out, but it would have been nice to have had a different resource. So this one is just, this link here is an overview of what it is. This one is going to get into a bit more to the nitty gritty of everything. And passing it over to Miss Andrea. Naturally, it's Andrea because it's purple. Yes, Stephanie.
Okay, let me just say something also so that we can give
Career Coach?
like a full feature kind of review of this PowerPoint Live. So everybody now is seeing slides. It's not about Career Coach, though I love Career Coach, and a lot of people in my customer base are actually doing pilots with it right now. So I think this is going to be big. But just in general, you all as participants are seeing this slide in front of you, and you also see down below the slide three little dots. I call that the caterpillar because it's like a caterpillar before it turns into a butterfly. There's always more there to explore. So feel your LeVar Burton and click on the caterpillar. And I want to remind people that when you're using PowerPoint Live, each participant can translate the slides into the language of their choosing. It won't translate, obviously, the speaker's voice for them, but it will translate all the typed content on the screen. So if you wanted to translate right now, you could click whatever language you want, and all of the typed language on that screen is automatically translated for you. So I just wanted to call that out again. Also for our visual folks with visual differences and impairments, you can also view in high contrast the slides. And again, that makes it really accessible for participants. So also, sorry, just wanted to inject that. Yeah.
No, I love that. And I would really like, just as for fun, in addition to, because I have called it the dead snowman. I got that from somebody else. Stephanie called it a caterpillar. I'm also curious what y'all call the ellipses. And Stephanie, I just got to say, I'm like the tiniest bit disappointed. You mentioned LeVar Burton, the caterpillar, but I didn't hear butterfly in the sky.
I can go twice high. Everybody finish it off. Take a look.
It's in a book.
Reading Rainbow. We're not paid by LeVar. I just was a big fan as a kid.
And she got to meet him. Didn't you meet him?
I did.
Yeah.
I did meet him at an IC one year, and he signed a book for my kids.
All right, moving on. This is you, Andrea. Go for it.
Fantastic. So super excited to see this one coming out, which is a class home, which is going to essentially be that hub site that brings everything together for your students. Think of it as that class calendar or course set of updates. You can have docs and specific announcements in there, but it looks more like that classic teacher website a little bit, but it pulls from all the different places within the team and really makes it come alive. We've got another quarter or so to wait for it to come out, but really excited to see this coming up in the upcoming years. I know as parents support our K-12 students, they're going to really appreciate having one landing page, one source of truth to get started there. So as we learn more about it, we'll definitely be bringing this one back around for that hub site. This will also work for your groups and having a home site in some of your other teams in the future.
Did you want
to?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to just ask Andrea if she wants to take control.
Oh, no, you can click.
Okay, that's fine.
Just for customers who are also kind of exploring this Venn diagram between an LMS and your team's environment, et cetera, I think that this is a response and a step towards that. So if you're somebody who's like, hey, can I use Teams as an LMS? Well, we still can't be a CMS, right? We can't be a curriculum management system because we don't have the ability in Teams to copy those big content sort of pathways and move them from team to team. But this gets us closer to that feel of sort of a class experience micro web page. So a lot of people are liking that if they don't yet have an LMS.
Right, this one is one of my favorites. So we've all seen PowerPoint Coach, and now within PowerPoint, we have a speaker coach, which is going to really start helping you become better at presenting. I should probably do it more. It's been a while since I've gotten some feedback on my own presentations. But what's great is it pops up and it gives you that information and allows you to refine your speaking. So I'm super excited to see how much more PowerPoint is innovative and coming along with us. And I'm just guessing, I haven't seen it officially, but this will probably only be available in the online version of PowerPoint. So if you've been using the desktop version of PowerPoint, definitely go save your doc or your presentation to your OneDrive or your Teams site and go to your online PowerPoint and open it up, because it also already has checking for eye contact and those things, as well as a presenter coach on pace and things like that. But this is really going to focus on speaking. So super excited to see that coming. Reading Coach. Reading Coach is one that has been, Reading Progress has been around for a little bit, but Reading Coach, which has just now become available right after ISTE, is now going to really help students get better at their reading. So Progress is really that assessment tool where we're getting that information from the teachers able to see that. This is for students. This is for students to be able to listen to them reading and give them more feedback. So very helpful. I always say, you know, hooked on phonics, reading comprehension, those things were always a struggle. It didn't work for me very well, but I feel like being able to get real-time coaching given back to me, not from my mom, who I felt like was always picking on me because I wasn't a great reader. I feel like this kind of takes that human emotion a little bit out of it and really focuses on the student getting better at their reading. So I'm really excited for this one to come out soon. And additional enhancements to Reading Progress, getting a lot better, even that the phonics breakdowns and those things to really help those students, giving them more feedback. And my world language folks, Stephanie is here, right? She taught Spanish at the school we were at a long time ago. You can now use different languages, and I'm seeing a really big uptick in Reading Progress being used at the high school world language levels for both new language and native speakers who maybe speak the language but didn't learn the grammatical side or some of those types of things. We're seeing that really come into play with the Reading Progress enhancements, and we're going to see more of these coming.
Yeah, let me just give the quick soapbox here too. I spent all day today with Miami-Dade County Public Schools talking to them about Reading Coach as well. And just wanted to remind that in a lot of cases, higher education have international faculty and international students. And this is a real differentiator of value for students to want to come to you as a higher ed institution if you're offering this, even in sort of the same vein that we offer writing clubs and tutoring help for calculus courses and all those things. This can absolutely be leveraged there. Additionally, if you have English language learners, which I think all of us do at this point, frequently those kids are referred to special education when they come to the US because they are so low in reading, when in actuality, we have over 160 languages we could support. So I could upload a document in Haitian Creole and get a valid assessment of their fluency in their native language and eliminate the over justification of a special education referral. So it's a real equity play when you use it that way as well. So this is one of those products that I think surface value, oh, cute, we're learning how to read and we can do this automated. Yes, but like really stretch yourself in thinking. I know we've covered this before, but just wanted to kind of bring that up, and there's a lot more coming as well.
Is this still me? Right, and the student spotlight card. I was like, wait, I thought, okay, anyway, this is my last one. These are coming out next quarter, and it is going to be that spotlight card that's really going to help bring to the teacher's forefront of what needs students have and helps us miss those things that we might not have noticed and brings up those trends. Or if we're going to be doing conferencing with students, like what this shot shows here is it gives you an idea of how many times kids are participating or not participating or not turning work in time and things like that. All those things that we think as an educator we know because we know our students, but sometimes we miss, whether we've got unintentional bias or we know other things are going on. But this really helps us identify and really brings those things right up, and we can decide if it is something we want to talk about. What I love is that it gives it to the teacher so they can decide if they want to have those conversations with those students. It doesn't share directly with those students, as I understand it at this point. So that's really helpful to help guide some of those conversations for students.
And you can actually click on the name right from this view and start a chat specifically with that student if you wanted to open up that dialogue, which is awesome.
One of my things is I just want to say with this little bit, and then I'm going to stop. This is my soapbox, is that there are so many students that don't want to speak up. They don't want to call attention to themselves. They don't want to ask for help. This is the way to get some of that insight on your end where the teacher can be proactive. So that I think is an important piece. Victoria, you grabbed control? Okay, got it.
Yep. All right. Okay, so education insights. I feel like this is something that we're constantly building on more and more. So I think first iteration, primarily focusing on social emotional learning. Now bringing in some pieces associated with assignments and, tracking turn-in rates and different things like that for different students. So the other piece is this can also be shared with other teachers. So maybe you have, a grade level team and you want to see how this person is doing in multiple courses as well to see, is it just your class or is this everybody? So the other thing, Education Insights Premium, not to be confused with Viva Insights. The premium version of this also is what gives that kind of school level view of, whether you're looking at this across different teachers or principals for different schools and how that might roll up to a school district level as well. So some enhancements coming there. Both of these things to get that hierarchy data in there. There's some pieces with school data sync and things like that, but remember that this does require you to have that hierarchy data so you can know who's a part of what school and et cetera, et cetera. Looking at the whiteboards, again, lots of iterations. I know there were not happy changes the last time we made some changes to whiteboard, but I think this is super cool. Thinking about how this would happen in real life. I remember teachers putting like tape on the whiteboards to get different grid lines for different things and then trying to erase things through that and then put everything back up for the next class. And so with this, being able to take a whiteboard, do your different annotations on things, have people add to that, but then being able to start from scratch for the next class period with kind of that template that you created already showing up there. Parent connection is, I know that was a super ask in all of the ATUs that I've ever supported with, how can we actually connect with parents and they're not a part of our tenant? Do we need to add parents to be a part of our tenant? This is another thing that's going to rely on school data sync to some degree with that guardian data of, having, the guardian's phone numbers and email addresses and things like that. What's really cool on top of that, of course, you can chat through Teams. That person does not have to have a special license to do that. They're able to kind of use the free version in order to do that chat. But if you know me, I have to talk a lot about Teams voice. And so what's also cool is being able, if you have that phone number within the Teams client, being able to just click on that and make a phone call from within the Teams client. So teachers are not having to type those numbers into their personal devices or go outside of that platform that they're already using right then and there. It's really, really simple to do that. Again, that requires you to have a phone system and calling plan or direct routing set up. So if you're not on A5, let's talk about it. Reflect enhancement. So this is another thing that has been kind of an iterative feature where, we had the Reflect app where you could have it in your different team classes. And now we're trying to embed that same principle in a lot of different places. So now being able to bring, the Reflect pieces into OneNote, as well as giving teachers the opportunity to kind of edit what those questions look like. So it's a bit more applicable to, kind of the culture that they have in their classroom, as well as these fun characters to help them understand, okay, this is probably what I meant by this word, because you can see these Monster Inc. characters. So I know it's not Monsters Inc. That wasn't a branded thing.
Feelings monsters.
Disney's gonna get
monsters.
you.
This is between Reading Rainbow and that comment, we're gonna get blasted off of YouTube.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, but that is all that I had. This is a link that Heather or Andrea, one of these lovely individuals, put here at the end. So it's this exact deck. So please feel free to take this back home to your institutions, your school districts, and share this internally as well.
So number one, before I turn it to Andrea so she can call out that piece there, Andy, I of course, if Andy Moon asks, Andy Moon gets. And when this recording is done, I will put it on YouTube. I'll do that before I walk away from my computer. Andrea, tell them what we are hoping to do in 2 weeks. So this is a quicker turnaround, but we're really excited about this one.
So we took all the feedback that we got from you guys on the form that Heather sent out. And one of the things that we kept seeing over and over and over was Power Apps, Power Automate. And so I'm putting together a showcase for us in 2 weeks. So if you'll fill out that form, it's not going to be super formal. We just want you to share the awesomeness that you're doing, whether it's a Power App or a Power Automated flow to simplifies the workflows that you're using at your campus. Please let me know. I'll reach out to you. It's going to be hey, let me share my screen and show you. No slides, none of that. And I'm going to bring in with me the customer success manager for Biz Apps from my team. So hopefully we can have a really good showcase from this community. One of the things that we're really striving for this season is to bring and share the awesomeness that you guys are doing at your campuses and institutions across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Andrea said, if you are a slide person and you do want to put some slides together, you're welcome to, but please know that's not a requirement. It's however you'd like to share the amazingness that you've created. So if it's a demo or just a screen share or a slide, whatever it is, but we know that you guys are doing amazing things, and we think that the community can really, really learn from that. So we will let you know. For those of you unfamiliar, you'll get an email every week. If you are on this team, we email you once a week to let you know what topic is coming out. So we'll send that out. We don't have that locked in just yet, but we have a lot of ideas and a lot of things we know that you guys are interested in. So you will see that next week. And guys, I am so happy to have seen everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing back up. We love you all so much. We love being here with you every week. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this community. We hope that it just continues to grow and be better and better every single week. So we look forward to seeing you in the future. I will stop the recording and then I won't walk away till it's on YouTube.